charge you for work and then never show up to actually do the renovations, you can dispute the charges through your credit card and get your money back. Same thing should apply here though, right? EA has not delivered a product you've paid $60, maybe more for if you bought the deluxe edition, so you're entitled to a refund. But not only are you not, according to EA, but if you do try and get your money back, you'll be banned from your Origin account, which means any other games that you purchase through EA that you have to log in to use, too fucking bad. Those are gone too. I can understand if they block you from using SimCity, of course they should. Now you've got your money back, so you don't get to use the product for free, which you couldn't use anyway when you paid for it. But to ban you from using other things you purchased, that'd be like getting a refund for your iPhone because it broke, and Apple disables your iPad and your iMac. So that's the worst part, right? No, because EA also banned people who didn't ask for refunds. From a post on Reddit, a user says that he purchased the game on Amazon, decided to stick it out until the servers were back up and running, then found himself unable to log in because EA banned a bunch of keys that were purchased from Amazon. It's followed by several posts of people confirming they had the same problem. The post said that Amazon has made EA aware of the issue, and EA is working on fixing it, and it should be fixed in the next day or so. But what the fuck, EA? So there are people who purchased this game nearly 2 weeks ago, for some fucking reason were patient enough to stick it out through all the problems, and you fuck them over too. Shit, I didn't even buy this game, and I'm gonna do my best never to purchase a game from EA again. So here's the thing. All of this shit, it's all to prevent piracy, all to prevent losing money. Whether EA wants to admit it or not, which they don't according to an article where they claim that an offline mode didn't fit their vision, the game is online so that people are forced to log in with a valid key. So how much did they save? How much did they make? That's what I'd like to know, because after all the money they spent upgrading their servers because they were too fucking stupid to think maybe everyone who purchased the game might actually want to play it, and after all the refunds, did they really make a lot more money by preventing piracy? And they didn't prevent it anyway. Some modder already figured out a way to play SimCity offline. You just can't save, and I'm sure another modder will figure that part out if they haven't already. Good work, EA. You fucked over a large number of people who did want to give you their hard-earned money while cutting back on piracy by roughly 0%. I already have a policy to never purchase a video game that forces you to be online, and I might as well add never purchase a game created or published by EA to that list as well. Bravo, shit for brains. Bravo. Maybe for an encore, you can come by and fuck everyone's mothers with an old Madden cartridge. Welcome to Advice No One Asked For. The feature at A Dose of Buckley, where I take time out of my very busy schedule to help those who clearly need help, even though they asked someone else for it. They probably just got confused and sent it to the wrong email address. Yeah, that's it. Today's question comes from a teenager who's struggling with the ladies. Dear someone more qualified and less of a dick. I am already 13, and I have never had a girlfriend. I am becoming very desperate, and I want a girlfriend because all of my friends have one. It pains me, and I'm very jealous. I'm going to go crazy if I don't get a GF. Please help me. Signed, let's call him 13 going on 30 in Thousand Oaks. Already 13? Holy shit, you should be married with kids and a mortgage by now. The thing about being a teenager is that you have pretty much no perspective on life. When you're 13, you've lived about 0% of your life if you round down. Your life experience includes eating chocolate and playing video games. Unless you're one of those bizarre kids that volunteers without being told to, your contribution to society is also 0%. In fact, it's like negative 100%. All you've done is taken so far.
We're gonna make some
Taxes
coffee.
are paid for you to go to school. Your parents buy your food and clothes or give you money to go buy your own food and clothes. Your allowance was earned by doing things that you should be doing anyway, like cleaning up messes you made in the house, but the issue is you're 13, 14, 15, whatever. It's not your fault that you are the age you are. You can only age as quickly as time will pass. So based on your perspective, everything seems like a huge deal because you have nothing to compare it to. No life experiences, and your social life in middle school or high school is all you have. Your problems aren't even first world problems. They're problems that people with first world problems wish they had. And this is one of those things. I'm becoming very desperate to get a girlfriend. Why? You're 13. First of all, being desperate, that's ridiculous. Single, lonely 45-year-olds should be desperate. The clock's ticking for them. It's not long before their uteruses stop working, or they need a pill to make their penis do that thing it does every 15 minutes by itself when you're a teenager. And unless you date the school tramp, you're not going to get your little teenage dick wet just yet anyway, so what do you want a girlfriend for anyway? Because your friends have one? This is a dad thing to say, but if your friends all had herpes, would you want that too? And what the fuck would you do with her anyway? Hang out and maybe kiss. Best case scenario is you get the worst hand job of your life, but you're 13, so it'll be the best one you ever had. The fact that you just want a girlfriend, any girlfriend, because your friends have one, just proves that your 13-year-old hormonal teenage feelings mean nothing. When you're 13, you're in love with every girl that smiles in your direction or will say hello to you. Well, let me tell you, kid, you do not want a 13-year-old girlfriend. Young teenage girls' hormones are scarier than a fucking cyclone full of razor blades. The second you get a girlfriend, you won't be allowed to even look at another girl without getting yelled at. You won't be able to hang out with your friends because she'll complain that you're not spending any time with her, even though you'll see her like 30 times a day at school. Saying hello to another girl will be considered cheating. You'll be miserable, but you'll think, well, it's okay, at least I have a girlfriend. Then she'll make out with some older dude at a party 3 months later, and you'll be even more miserable. Think you're going crazy now? Get a girlfriend and you'll find out what going crazy is, when everything you do is wrong, even when you do the exact opposite of whatever wrong thing you did yesterday that pissed her off. Now, enjoy being single and 13 and having literally no real problems. Then, wait till you're about 15 or 16, then ask out the nerdiest girl in the school. They're the least crazy, and they always somehow end up being the hottest later on. I'm Buckley, and you're welcome. This week, The Onion, a satirical news site that I shouldn't have to explain. The Onion is what all cynical comedy writers wish they could be. Issued an apology for a tweet that one of their writers made during the Oscars. The tweet said, "Everyone else seems afraid to say it, but Quvenzhané Wallis is kind of a cunt, right?" And people were furious. Let me explain the joke to you. Quvenzhané Wallis is a 9-year-old girl who just so happened to be nominated for Best Actress for her role in the film Beasts of the Southern Wild. The joke is that she's 9, and probably the sweetest and most humble person at the Oscars because she's a 9-year-old girl who hasn't had the chance to grow up and become a snobby little diva. That is why the joke works, because she's very obviously not kind of a cunt. It's a pretty deep joke for a one-line tweet, but that's the problem. It's on Twitter where everyone's an idiot and expects simple jokes, so everyone got pissy. And The Onion apologized, which I've never seen them do. This is a site that was making jokes about 9/11 literally 2 weeks after it happened. During the DC sniper attacks, they suggested that people serpentine while getting gas, referring to a person who was murdered at a gas station for no reason other than he happened to be the target John Allen Muhammad chose that day. In 1998, they posted a one-liner headline joke that said, "Special Olympics T-ball stand pitches perfect game." I'll let that sink in for a second. Is it offensive? I'm sure some people find it in poor taste. Is it funny? Oh yeah, it is. This is a satirical online news site that makes jokes about death, suicide, national tragedy, abortions, and basically every other taboo thing. There are 2 articles trivializing and joking about the Oscar Pistorius murder case right beside the apology. By the way, I think Oscar is screwed with this murder case. I don't think he has a leg to stand on. Oh, poor taste, right? Well, fuck you, I'm not apologizing. But this is the age we live in now, where comedians have to apologize every time they upset someone. Gilbert Gottfried had to apologize for making jokes about the tsunami in Japan. It also cost him his job with Aflac as the voice of the duck on their commercials. Dane Cook apologized for a joke where he said, "The Dark Knight Rises is such a bad movie that if none of that would have happened, I'm pretty sure that somebody in that theater, about 25 minutes in, realizing it was a piece of crap was probably like, oh, fucking shoot me." He did that joke days after the Aurora massacre. I don't think the joke is particularly funny because The Dark Knight Rises was fucking awesome, but it doesn't offend me. He didn't come out and say, "Those people all deserve to die." He's a comedian. And even if he kind of sucks at the part where he's supposed to be funny, he shouldn't have to apologize for his jokes. I'll admit there's a fine line between offensive comedy and biting satire and just being an asshole for shock value. But you know what? If that's your thing, and you can gain an audience for it, you shouldn't have to apologize. Who are you apologizing to anyway? Not your fans. You're apologizing to the other people who found out about it who don't support you anyway. Daniel Tosh made a rape joke during a stand-up set in mid-2012 and then apologized for it. The woman he offended wasn't even a fan. It was someone who went with their friend and also heckled Tosh. The story then got blown out of proportion by the media. More people who aren't fans of his work, just people who need to sell ads for newspapers and airtime for news shows. And villainizing a celebrity who tells jokes is perfect for that. Should I apologize for my joke my character Arthur Buckley made in my 5 Worst Songs in 1958 video? Which, by the way, if you compare the amount of subscribers I have to the amount of views that video has, a lot of you haven't watched it, so don't complain I don't do enough about music already if you're not going to watch the ones I do make. No way the ladies want to let you get them out of their poodle skirts. I hope this kid takes a long flight off a short runway, if you know what I mean. Oh no, I made a joke about Buddy Holly. Too soon. He died over 50 years ago. Get the fuck over it. A lot of my comedy is dark and deals with some taboo subjects. Don't like it? Fine, don't watch or listen to me. And the same goes for any other comedians or comedy websites like The Onion. If you don't like their work, don't support it. But don't expect that they should apologize. Why? Because your feelings were hurt? Fuck your feelings. Don't be such a selfish baby. The Billboard Hot 100 is arguably the chart in North America for determining the biggest hit songs. Actually, it's not even arguable. Anyone who believes otherwise has their head so far up their ass they're choking on yesterday's breakfast. The US Hot is a weekly singles chart listing the most popular songs in America, and the songs are ranked based on the following things: radio airplay, sales of singles on either iTunes or actual physical copies of singles, which I didn't even know still existed. What do you say, gang? Let's go get a malt, then head down to the record shop. Yeah, that's still happening. And on-demand streaming from, like, I don't know, whatever those sites are that let you do that, Pandora or whatever. And as of last week, YouTube views have been added to the count. And with that change, guess what became the #1 song in the US? I'll give you a hint. You've only heard the same 30 seconds of it over and over. Yeah, Harlem Shake. Bauer, I'm assuming I'm saying that right, like the company that makes ice skates or the other company that sells clothing for yuppies, but don't correct me if I'm wrong because I won't need to say it for very long. He released the Harlem Shake song in mid-2012,